I am live, or at least I'm supposed to be live right now. Let me move my camera a little bit so that I can see everything accordingly. If anybody is there, let me know. If you guys can see me, if you guys can hear me, I'd love to know because I want to hang out. I haven't done this in a very long time. Let's say maybe a year or over a year or so. Let's make sure I'm all comfortable here in my studio. And hopefully some people will show up and we'll have some fun. Let me check if the chat is working. Check. Let me see if this is working. The chat seems to be working. So if anybody is there, good. Hi, Lucas. Good to see you here. So, yeah, this is a bit of a spontaneous thing. I wasn't planning on this, but this morning I was like, you know what? I want to hang out. I want to hang out with you guys, talk about gear, have fun, and have you guys ask me a bunch of questions because I get so many questions on Instagram and Facebook, of course, on my channel, where people are like, hey, what should I buy? What do you think of this piece of gear, etc. So this is a good opportunity to talk about fun stuff and to answer some questions, right? Now, before we get started, and before hopefully some of you ask me some questions, I want to talk a little bit about some stuff that I've been doing. Today, I was working on a video with the Soldano Astro, which is a wonderful amp. I was working on a review of the Fane Crescendo AE speaker, which is a really cool speaker. So stay tuned for that video on the channel soon. I also released a video yesterday, which is a comparison between the Orange OR30 and the OR15, right there, which was a fun video. Not going to be like a huge hit, but interesting for people who want to hear the differences and the nuances between the amplifiers. Check that out if you haven't. I also worked on a bunch of capture packs recently, in case you're not aware. I did a capture pack of my dual rectifier for the new Quad Cortex V2 capture tech, which came out really well, and the reception has been great. I also did my Marshall rack, the JMP1 rack with the 9200 power amp. I did a capture pack of that for the Quad and Nano Cortex V2 as well, and then also for Tonex. Sometimes people ask me, hey, are you going to redo this and this amp? Because I have, of course, some capture packs of my PV6505s, for example. And I'm not going to redo all of those amps because with the V2 captures and the Quad Cortex, they often sound awesome already. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm here. Ask me anything, okay? Baritone Goat Studio, my buddy. Should I buy that guitar? I don't need. It's 6 a.m. here, and I don't know why I'm up already. I'm sorry, dude. I hope you got a good night, though. And of course, you always need that guitar. That's always the answer. People are joining, coming in here, and already starting to ask me some questions, which is good, which is why we're here, okay? I'm also trying out this Osmo Pocket 3 for the first time as the webcam. It looks pretty good, I must say. It's a bit easier to see the mess that we have on the floor over here and all that stuff, but it's live, it's real, it's gritty, okay? SJMKS.0 asks, what is your preferred way to monitor your amp modelers when dialing in tones, headphones, studio monitors, etc.? Any tips on dialing in tones that translate well for live use? Good question. Sure. You know what? When I dial in all my tones, I just use my studio monitors, which I have over here, which are the IK Multimedia iLoud Precision MTM speakers. Love them a lot. They sound great. I do everything through those monitors, even when I play through my real amplifiers. So they go into my ISO cab, which is behind that cupboard, mic'd up with 3 mics. If you know my channel, you know my drill. 3 mics, and they're sent into the DAW, and then I listen to the whole thing through my studio monitors. Same thing with the modeler, and I don't play live anymore. I used to in the past, of course. Some tips that I could give to you are that when we listen in a controlled studio environment or with headphones, or when you're just playing by yourself, you know, it's nice to have that top end and that chunky low end and stuff, you know, let's say this curve. Okay. But when you're playing live, you want to sort of tame those frequencies a little bit. So perhaps tame the top end and tame the bottom end a little bit, because those are going to be exaggerated when you play louder. That's the Fletcher-Munchen curve, if you've ever heard of that. If not, Google it. So, you know, having a bit more of a slightly darker, slightly tighter, slightly more mid-focused sound will help you to sound better live. That's basically my answer. And if you get the opportunity to, you know, use that on stage with the PA, try it out and see how it works, and ask the sound guy, like, hey, how is this working? That would be ideal. You know, if you could test it out at sound check or something. That's my advice. Okay. Vitor Kim, what's your personal favorite all-in-one modeler? And are you disappointed by Helix Stadium? I'm not disappointed by Helix Stadium. I love Helix Stadium. It's awesome. The thing about Helix Stadium is, what I love about it, first of all, is that there's capture tech coming. I love captures, right? I love that about the Quad Cortex. I love that about Tonex. That's going to change everything, but it's not here yet. Okay, we're going to have to wait for that a little while. However, we do get everything that you got in the old Helix and more. The Agora stuff. I did a video on the EVH, of course, where it turned out not to be super pleasing for my taste. So maybe that model needs some work. I don't know, but it's a new beginning, and we're probably going to get 10 years worth of updates. So I definitely recommend the Helix Stadium, because it's a fun unit. It's awesome. I also love the Quad Cortex because of how captures are integrated in the unit and the size. I also love the Fractal stuff. I have the FM9 on my desk here. I use it every day as my audio interface. It's really easy for me to run all my mics into there. So I have a mixer over here, and then I have the FM9 over here, and everything is easily routed into my DAW. I can record my DI tracks alongside some amp models. So those are kind of the big three. I guess the Quad Cortex, Helix Stadium, and the Fractal FM9 is basically what I would recommend, but it depends on your own taste and your own needs. I can't tell you which one is the one for you. I hope that helps. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to this spontaneous live stream. Thanks for coming in here and talking. Let me know if you have any questions, because that's why I'm here. Okay. Guitar giveaway, please. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Gravel Rocks 5588. Are you going to demo the Fractal AM4? I talked to the people at G66 about that, and it looks as if I will probably be doing a video. Yes, so stay tuned. I'm really looking forward to that, because it seems really cool. Like a Fractal HX Stomp, basically. Even though you only get 4 blocks, seems really awesome. Cool. Lord Bacchus. Why do I hate single coils? I don't know. I don't know why you hate single coils. Music 78909. Dude, your names are so complicated to pronounce sometimes, okay? I love Kiesel. I love Ibanez as well, but the Kiesel stuff is killer. I was playing on my Joker today, actually. Let me grab it. This guitar is so cool. The screen looks very blue, so I guess that my camera is doing something to the screen that's making it even bluer than normal, but Kiesel is killer, man, and you can order anything you want. So, hey, look, it's me. So my answer, Ibanez is legendary, of course, and I have a couple of really cool Ibanez guitars, but if you can get yourself a Kiesel, then I would recommend Kiesel, because you can really make it your own. You know what I mean? I need to put this guitar back in the rack. Just a sec. Keep the questions coming, people. Keep them coming. I'm getting warm. I'm taking off my Creative Devices jacket. Okay, next question. Lucas Klatt. And by the way, I just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being subscribed, hopefully. If not, please subscribe and drop a comment, drop a like. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. I wouldn't be able to do this without you. And it really means the world to me. If you want to support this channel, as usually, get something in my affiliate links for Tomon, Sweetwater, or get something in my web store, like a capture pack or an IR pack. That really helps out the channel, because I have to feed the kids, and I can't feed my kids with an amplifier. Well, I could try, but it's not recommended. All right. Anyway, back to the subject matter. Lucas, do you think the rectifiers are getting more attention among guitarists and online lately? Have you seen Randall Smith's YouTube series? Yes, I have. Those are interesting stories. I was hoping he would get a little bit more into detail about things like the single rectifier and the differences between various rectifiers. I recorded a video yesterday about rectifiers. In fact, I compared my mini rectifier to the Syn 20IR Direct. That's going to be very, very interesting and fun. Stay tuned for that. I don't know. I mean, they're just legendary amps, and I like them, and they'll always get attention, I think. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Guggens 78. Fryette PS100 or Evo Red 7? Woo! Well, depends on your needs, right? So the Red 7 is an excellent load box, and the Fryette is like it's a load box, reactive load as well, but it also has a tube amp built in, right? Which is a completely different thing. So you can re-amplify stuff. You can also amplify modelers, preamps, etc. And I do really like the voicing options that the PS100 has, but it's more heavy. It's more expensive, probably. So it depends on what you need, man. But I don't know if you watch my reactive load comparison that I did some months ago. That should really help in listening and hearing what the tonal differences are, right? So check that out if you haven't already. I mean it. You mean like a filtering? I don't know what that is. Sorry. Kay, what's up? Kay down, everybody. Kai. Oh my God. I need to learn how to pronounce people's names properly. So sorry. Douglas, low high pass on the edges. Oh, you mean for the using a modeler live? Yeah, I mean, you could do like slopes. It doesn't have to be a cut. Just, tame those frequencies a little bit. Either tame the top and bottom end for live use, or make a big bell in the mid-range to accentuate the mids. You know what I mean? Maybe with like 500 hertz in the center, and then make a very wide bell, or just slope off the top and bottom end. That could help. Guitar giveaway to me only, please. You guys are funny. Metallica or Megadeth? Dude, that's the answer right there. Linnaeus 7, when is the 8-string comparison video coming? I can't wait. I haven't made it yet. The thing is, I approached a bunch of companies if they wanted to participate, and not a lot of people were like, yeah. So I can still do one. I'm still waiting for an 8-string by Aviator. I might do one. It's a lot of work, though, and I was hoping for a little bit more companies to join in, We'll see. Maybe. John, Utrecht being close to Rotterdam. Have you ever met Brad Davids, or are you going to collab at some point? Brad Davids. I don't know who that is. Sorry. Requiem 249. I want to see you demo some Bogner stuff. Uberschall, Snorkeler, Ecstasy, etc. Anything in the works. Dude, seriously. I've been trying to get a hold of Bogner now for a couple months. I know people who are friends with Reinhold, and they can't reach him. The website is down. Whenever I send an email, I don't get a reply. It's impossible. So I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately, which is a damn shame, because I would love to do videos with the Uber Ultra, especially. So you could try sending them a message and saying like, hey, Sonic Drive Studios should do a video. They don't seem very eager to work with me or with people like me. I don't know. I do have the the modules for the Synergy stuff, and those are so good. I used my Ubershell module in my review for the yellow LTD 8-string. Check that video out if you're interested in that module, because it sounds really awesome. Okay, I hope that answers your question. I'm so sorry. I really want to do some Bogner stuff, but it's not happening right now. Boober burned. When are you going to do an Oasis amp sound video? I don't know. Could be fun. I don't know if it would get views. I think the problem is I can't pick between Quad Cortex, Fractal, or Helix Stadium. So if you could only have one. Ask me that when the cloning comes to the Helix, because that's going to be very important. If that comes and it's accurate and it works really well, the Helix is going to be very hard to beat for me. But I really love the Quad Cortex as well. But at the same time, I also use the Fractal FM9 a lot. So I don't know. It's hard, man. What about Headrush Prime? Not a fan. I'm not a fan. That was one of the units where I struggled a lot with in terms of getting some really good tones. You know what I mean? Maybe they've improved it a little bit here and there, but it just, the amp tones, the core amp tones just weren't doing it for me, unfortunately. Hello, Gorgolet. These names, guys, come on. Why don't you just call yourself Steve or Paul or Adam? Gorgolet. I'll say Gorgolet. Hello, I'm thinking about buying the Lichtlarm Audio The King in Yellow to boost my PV6505 Plus. Since your last video on it, have you come across an even better boost? Great question. I love my Lichtlarm Audio stuff a lot. Lately, however, I've also really been using my Zuta Tri-X boost a lot. It's very simple, but it's so good. Check that out. Next question, and keep the questions coming, guys. Come on, that's why I'm here. That's why we're here, right? Let's do this. I don't do this often. I do this like once a year, maybe. So let's do some good questions. Give me the juice. Okay, let me do the next one. Tomasz Kanowski Hamlet. What do you think? Is there a bigger difference in sound between tube amps or between an amp and various speaker cabinets? A bigger difference in sound? Yeah, I think there's a bigger difference in sound between amps, because let's say a Dietzel VH4, right? It's never going to sound the same as an Engel Fireball, no matter what cabinet or what speaker you use. Speakers do change the overall EQ curve, of course, of an amp, but it's not going to change the dynamic response, the distortion character, the tone stack response, etc. So, you know, definitely between amps, there's a bigger difference than speakers and cabinets, if you ask me. Okay. All right. Lord Bacchus, I have a DAW, PreSonus, but I have no idea where to start. Well, good luck with that. I totally forgot in what context that was, but Vitor Kim, did you ever try Aristides, and what do you think about them? I think they're awesome. I think they're awesome. I've been trying to plant some seeds with them to see if they'll work with me, but they have everything going for them, and they seem so successful that they don't seem interested in working with anybody except for Mendel, because he's lucky. Maybe they had like a lefty lying around or something. I really like their guitars, but it's going to be difficult. All right, let's continue with the questions. Hello, wow, I can ask you live, Satarello. Yes, of course you can. Music 7, 8, blah, blah, blah. Just give away your 5150. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Lucas, you've tested a lot of Synergy modules. What about Salvation Audio or Jaded Faith? I have no idea. I've only tried the Synergy stuff, but I'm having so much fun with the Synergy stuff. So good. Like, I want to do more videos with the Synergy stuff, but you guys have to watch them too. But you know what? Not everything is about views, of course. I've been doing some videos recently, like comparisons and stuff, where I know that they're not going to be hits. They're not going to be super successful, but that's just stuff that I want to do. Like the comparison of the Orange amps that I posted yesterday. Didn't get a lot of views, but it's something that I just wanted to do. You know what I mean? Let's continue again with the questions. Tarello, I have a question. Can I achieve a good tone with real amp plus Fractal X-Low 2 plus modeler with IR straight to external interface? Yes, of course. I did that for years with the X-Load. However, I just ran the line out of the X-Load into my XFX3, which I don't own anymore because I now use my FM9, and then used the IR loading, and the XFX3 was connected to my computer with the USB. So from there on, everything was digital, and it was worked out really well. Uncle Yoshi, hi John. If you were to play live with a stereo rig, what gear would you use? Yeah. I mean, it's probably not going to happen anymore in my life. I've had my share of touring and playing live, and I'm not able to do that anymore because of my dystonia. Don't know if you're aware, but I have this condition where I can't really play live anymore. If I would go the modeling route, I would probably go with something Helix-y or Quad Cortex-y. Right now, maybe I would lean towards the Quad Cortex because of the fact that I could use captures of my own amps. But you know, Helix, it's just such a fun platform, and it's easy to program, and all the effects are so cool. So when the capturing comes to the Helix, game changer. You know what I mean? I have to be careful with that word, but it's not a game changer, but it's just, you know, one of the greatest at that point. It still is the greatest, even though it doesn't have capturing just yet. All right. Katana or Fender Mustang? I don't really know. I'm sorry. German guitar player 284. What's your favorite amp for moaning metal rhythms? Moaning metal rhythms and or gen tones. What do you mean with moaning? And what's your all-time favorite lead tone amp? Why both questions? What's your favorite for metal? Let's just say metal rhythms and or gen tones. There's so many cool amps that you can use for those genres. Engel works for genty stuff. You could go with Victory Kraken, you know, EVH 5153, anything with a boost, Driftwood, Mini Nightmare, which is way up there. There's so many amps that work for those genres. And I don't really have favorites. I have a bunch of favorites, but I don't have one favorite, you know. The Lichtlarm Audio Prometheus is killer. The Red 7 is killer. The Rev, oh man, so many killer amps. I can't choose a single favorite. Thanks again for hanging out, everybody. Thank you for joining me here, and feel free to ask me anything. Yeah, also please hit the like and subscribe buttons. That really helps out the channel. I've been doing this for 10 years. For 10 years or so. And when am I going to reach 100,000 subscribers? It's going to take a couple of years probably, but the sooner you guys subscribe, the better, right? But thanks in advance if you haven't already subscribed. Oh, I got a super chat. Thank you so much. Didn't you used to have Kemper presets in your store? I can't find them anymore, and your profiles just sound amazing in your videos. Well, I do have them. I have them in my Ko-Fi store, and I'm launching my website soon, sonicdrivestudio.com. You can already go there and have a look. You can even buy stuff there, I think. But the Kemper, I have 2 Kemper packs in my web store that you can get right now if you want. So if you can't find them, there should be a category like Kemper profiles. But it's not my favorite platform to make profiles for, to be honest. Thank you so much for the super chat, Niels. Really appreciate it. Love you. All right, let's continue with the questions, and keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Give me the hard questions. Heavy Vibration Studio. What is your experience with Evertune Bridge? Is it easy to learn how to set it up? And is it done wrong? Will this have problems with tuning? Blah, 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 blah. I would love to do the Vola with the Evertune. I think they're doing a new baritone with an Evertune. I have one Evertune guitar. It's the ESP LTD Phoenix 1000 Quilt. No, it's not. It's the Silver Sunset Burst one. And the Evertune does a great job. It stays in tune, and it's not really hard to set up. You've got 3 screw thingies. One is for the height, the other is for the tuning, and the other is for the intonation. And you just adjust it until you get it right. Excuse me. So yeah, if it's something that you're really interested in, why not? I don't see me using it on many guitars, but it's cool to have at least one guitar for me with that system. All right, do Solar versus Ibanez comparison. Well, I mean, I did contact Solar. They don't really seem eager to send me anything, so, I don't see any Solar coming to the channel soon. However, I'm very open to it, of course. Argolane Mets 3979. I love your names, guys. Bogner Helios Eclipse, best amp ever created. I wouldn't know. Better high gain tones, Quad Cortex or Helix? Oh, both are awesome. For Bogner stuff, get in touch with YouTuber Reza Matrix. He's a friend of Reinhold Bogner. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard stories that they're not easy to get to work with people like me. So I don't know. Hey, love your channel. Eugene Kretu. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you all for joining me here and for hanging out a little bit. Keep the questions coming. Okay, so why are you violently ignoring the Green Beast? The Green Beast? Which Green Beast? You mean my Vola? I used it in a video recently. It's awesome. Is that the one that you mean? Any collab between you and any other guitarist? I'm not against that, but it's a little bit difficult for me, again, with my condition. I have certain things that I need to work around, and it's a little bit difficult because I'm not a flexible guitar player to play with because I have physical limitations and stuff, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I'm not against it, but who knows? All right, let me continue with questiones. I have an orange PPC 412 and an EVH 51 LBX 5150. It's small for a 4x12 cab. I was considering buying the EVH 5150 350 watt, but then saw your video on it being faulty, and now I'm considering other options. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I was just sharing my experience on what happened, and in my experience, they weren't really reliable. Those white ones, the 50 watts, which is a shame because it sounded really awesome, but I had 2 and they both broke like within a couple days. So that's not really promising, but you can try. And then if it doesn't work, send it back, because they do sound great. And my EL34 one has been very reliable. This one up here. So yeah. What does DBO in your hand mean? DBO. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean. Keep the questions coming, guys. Thick Bra. What guitar action do you like? And where do you think is the sweet spot for guitar action for playability and note clarity? That's a great question. I like low action. I don't measure it with measuring tools and stuff. I measure it with stupid stuff like guitar picks. I like my necks basically flat as I can get them. And then the action of the strings low enough that they feel very fast, but not so low that they start to sound really dead. But I hate it when frets are uneven. I need to have a nice and low action for it to feel good under the fingers. I hope that answers your question a little bit. Braxol 1. I was thinking about connecting my Fryette Power Station direct out to the VP4 to use the IR block, from there go out to USB so I can play guitar through my studio speakers with effects. Latency. Thoughts? Seems like a great idea, to be honest. Braxol, do it. Shouldn't be an issue with latency. Not anything problematic, I think. Shane Wraith. What do you think of Purple, Nightmare, and Prometheus amps? I love them. I love them a lot. The Prometheus is legendary. And my Mini Nightmare, which it's so hard to point. is so good as well. They're both cool, man. I love them a lot. I love them a lot. Robert Donoserbuchner. Dude, reading out your names is like my favorite thing out of these live streams. Is there a difference in the sounds between an Orange Rockerverb Mark III 50 watt and 100 watt version? I imagine that the difference isn't massive. I imagine that, the 100 watt will have a bit more oomph and headroom, but the 50 watt has plenty for me, so it's not something that I would need. I haven't played them side by side, so I can't tell you what the difference is. Aishigari Black 157. Is there a single coil humbucker you can recommend for metal? A single coil humbucker? A single coil humbucker. That doesn't. What do you mean, man? Single coil humbucker. Oh, you mean like the smaller ones? I don't know. I never used those. I used to have a hot reel in an old Strat, but I don't really recall if that was any good. I'm so sorry. Can't really answer that question well for you. Frad Power Station versus Seymour Duncan Power Stage as power amp for modelers. I do not know, because I haven't ever used. I've never tried the Power Stage, and I don't know how flat the Frad Power Station really is if you're going to use it with modelers. So it's really hard for me to give you a definitive answer. I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to continue. I'm getting a lot of questions here. It's going to take me a little while before I get to the bottom of this list, but I'm going to answer everything, okay? Quick sip of this beverage. All right. Are there plans to make single amp preset packs? I don't really do presets. I prefer doing captures, to be honest. Is the Marshall JVM 410H is on your top 10 amp list? Lalomoyika asks. No, it's a great amp, but I sold mine to a very good friend of mine. It's a great Marshall. If you want a Marshall that does like everything, it's an amazing amp, but I needed to make room for some other amps, so I sold it. It's not in my top 10, but it's really nice. Greetings from Mexico. Greetings from the Netherlands, my friend. Saint Loop. Hi, if you had to choose between the Lichtlarm Audio Prometheus and the Diezel VH4. Oh, dude. You mean these two here? Oh, man. Well, I have a great relationship with Lichtlarm Audio, and that amp is so sick. So I would choose the Prometheus over the Diezel VH4, but I really like the Diezel VH4 as well. It's so unique and so quirky. But if I had to choose, I would go for the Prometheus because it's so awesome. And it's a little bit less quirky. It's very unique still, the Prometheus, but it's, the VH4, as I showcased in a video recently, is a little bit quirky and weird in a way, with the note attack and everything. And the Prometheus is less quirky, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? And I like the quirky thing about the VH4, but the Prometheus is just a little bit more, it's easier to get a great tone out of, and it works better for a wide range of players, I think. All right, let's continue. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I've done this in a long time. I just wanted to hang out and chat with you guys. I've been working so hard on videos and stuff, and sometimes you get in this bubble, and I just really enjoy hanging out with you guys. So thanks for joining me here. All right, next question. Let's continue. Oh, man. Sean McCandless 9276. Oh, man, your names, guys. MT15 with Fryette Power Station or Dark Terror with Power Station for down-tuned metal. Boost will be the king in yellow. This is a matter of preference. Yes, this is a matter of preference. MT15 will sound bigger because of the 6L6 power tubes, and it's more tight by default. You don't really need a boost with that amplifier. If you want loud levels with the Dark Terror, the PS100 will work very nicely. And if you boost it, you can get some really mean tones out of that setup. But it's definitely a matter of preference, definitely. Check out my website, guys, sonicdrivestudio.com. I haven't launched it officially yet, but it's almost done. Check it out and let me know what you think. Okay. Have you ever tried the EMG headset? So what's your opinion on those pickups? Yes, I used to have an LTD Iron Cross James Hetfield signature guitar, which was really nice. It had the headset. It's not my favorite pickup set, but they sounded very thick and ballsy. Even though they try to make EMGs sound more like passive pickups sometimes, with the headset, for example, and the 5766 combo, they still sound very active to me. And I've really grown to love Fishman pickups. But it's a good set. Sounds very chunky. I imagine that they would sound better in like a V or like an Explorer rather than a Les Paul type guitar, because they were very thick in the low end. Not in a bad way, but not tight at all. Music, blah, blah, blah. Would you ever do a giveaway? I've done a couple giveaways. I don't do them often, but who knows? Never say never. Baritone Ghost Studio Evertunes are pretty simple, much easier to set up than a Floyd. Yeah, they're not hard. They're not hard. Next question. Braxol 1. I want to replace my aux box. Connecting it with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is too much a pain. My new computer, I cannot connect it anymore. Yeah. I mean, I've heard mixed stories about the aux box. Some people swear by it, but you can't even load IRs in it, right? Which is a shame. Alex Zakutaev 7461. Thank you for range of reviews. Helped me a lot to understand what will I get when I decided to buy certain things. At least I could hear it before obtaining. We have no tests in music shops here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be of service. That's the goal. Satrello, I know that you made a movie with Grossman, but is sound engineer could recording only via Grossman box for professional album? Absolutely. It sounds freaking awesome. I swear by that thing. Seriously, it sounds so massive. I love it a lot. I use it for everything now. Even my IRs were shot in that cab because it sounds so good. So yeah. Milan Custer or Milan Caster. Do you find yourself playing the FM9 or Quad Cortex more after the 3.3.0 update? To be honest, I haven't had a lot of time to just play because usually I'm working. So I don't play often just for fun anymore because I play so much for my work. And I'm passionate about other stuff like comic books and stuff. So when I've got free time, I spend time with my family and read books and stuff. But they're awesome, man. I mean, the cool thing about the Quad Cortex is that I can just put the sounds of my own amps in there and build a preset with various amp sounds and put effects before and after them. I love the Quad Cortex so much because of that, to be honest. Jose Baco. Oh, man. Again, pronouncing your names is the best thing about these live chats. My gosh. Keep them coming, guys. By the way, thanks for joining me here. For everybody who's tuning in right now, really appreciate it. Let's hang. I'll be here for a little while and I'll do my best to answer all your questions. I'll do my best to be of service. All right. And again, check out my new website, sonicdrivestudio.com. It's supposed to be going live soon. I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think is going to be the future of the pedals industry? Dude, I don't know. I hope a lot of exciting stuff keeps coming out. Same goes for the tube amp industry. It's something that I feel passionate about. I don't want the tube amp industry to die out. So everybody go get yourself a nice tube amp, okay? So much fun. Blue FANG. John, does Digitech 5 Classic mode has the same warble as the previous versions? I love the sound of the upper octave on the Digitech 4. They all sound a little bit different, to be honest. The Classic mode on the Whammy 5, it does the warble thing, but it still sounds quite stable, if you know what I mean. Some of the older versions are a little bit less stable, where the pitch really starts to go crazy. when you play like dissonant chords and stuff. So they're all a little bit different, to be honest. Uncle Yoshi, what guitar picks do you use? Do you prefer thick picks, 1 millimeter, or thicker, or less than 1 millimeter? Okay, so I swear by these. These are literally the only pickups that I use. Okay, so these are the Tortex. It's a bit worn out, but this is the Tortex. I think it's like 0.88, if I'm correct. Yeah, 0.88 millimeters. These are the only ones that I use. Seriously, for the past 20 years or so. I love them. I love them. Great question. Thank you. Keep the questions coming, guys. Carswell, let me scroll up. Carswell's coat. Carswell's coat. Sorry about your dystonia. Makes your cool playing even more impressive. Thank you so much. And all of you who commented on my video about that condition, where I decided to open up about it, man, that warmed my heart. I was so grateful. I felt so happy that I got to do my story, but also because a lot of you shared your own stories about your own like physical struggles that you're dealing with. So it was like a very therapeutic, not only for me, but like for us as a community, I think. So I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Sean McCandless, you got me about to buy the ESP LTD Phoenix 7-string baritone. Awesome. So good. I love that guitar. Is the UA aux box really worth the money? It's twice what the Capture X costs. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would get a proper load box with like IR loading and stuff instead, to be honest. Lalo Moika. Man. Oh my gosh. Again, just name yourself Steve or Jack or something. That would be easier for me. I'm just kidding. What string gauge do you use for standard and drop C sharp tuning? I always use 10s, Elixir 10s for drop C, and for standard usually the same gauge, just 10s. Mr. Calenture. You've reviewed almost everything. I wish. I mean, there's stuff that I would love to review. A real Bogner Uber Ultra, as I mentioned earlier in the live stream. I would love to do a Music Man Ernie Ball Majesty 8-string. I bought one last year, but I had to send it back because it had like 4 issues. Anyway, there's stuff that I want to review. There's plenty of stuff to do. There's always stuff to do. Always. Mike Sosa, 65, sorry. Love the channel. Great riff. Thank you so much. Lucas Klatt, what's your favorite album recorded with VST drums? What's your favorite instrumental metal album? I don't really know many instrumental metal albums aside from Liquid Tension Experiment, which are great. The only album with VST drums that I can think of would be Catch 33, which is one of my favorite records of all time by Meshuggah, obviously. Next question, Mr. Calenture. Never seen you review a Mesobarba! Question mark, question mark, question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark, question mark. I know. I've been talking to them, and they seem open to working with me. It hasn't happened yet, but I hope to have that happen. Guys, I'm looking at the like counter up there. I need more likes on this video, guys. Please drop a like. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, okay? Because I need to reach 100,000 subscribers before I turn 50 or something, right? It's going a bit slow, which is okay. I'm not one of those guys where people tune in because I'm so funny or, you know, they come here for the gear, which is fair and that's totally fine. So it's my growth is like good, but it's like, you know, very constant. I never grow like this, if you know what I mean. So all the likes, all the subscribes, and all the comments and stuff, everything is welcome. And thanks so much for all the support again. James Moses 4066. Have you ever ran wet, dry, wet stereo rigs? Never. I'm so sorry. I do not know. Mr. Calenture, can you get your hands on a Mezzobarba? I'd love to. Yeah, as I mentioned, I would love to. That would be awesome. But they'd have to send me one, and they'd have to decide that they're up for that. Jeremy Curve Run 1598. Hey man, first of all, huge thanks for your channel. It's unmatched for gear reviews. Thank you so much. Did you ever get your hands on a Schecter Solo 2 Custom? Since you seem to love Les Paul custom type guitars. Yeah, I had one for a year or so, and it was a great guitar. I only sold it because I just had too many guitars, which is a problem that I still have. They're all off screen right now. They're all here. But I have too many guitars. But that Schecter Solo 2 Custom was really nice. Really good Les Paul alternative. Seriously. I used it on the channel. I used it here and there because it was really nice. Highly recommended. My friend Dan, the Lonely Rocker, he also got one after he tried mine when he was visiting me last year, and he bought one after he tried mine because it was so good. Mike Sutterfield, have you considered doing a course on recording? Your drum mixes sound as good as your guitar mixes, and that's a great compliment. Well, first of all, thank you. I've never considered doing a course like that. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I do like a tutorial on a drum mix, and then those videos usually don't do very well. It's probably because I'm just more of a guitar gear focused channel. So I don't think I would be the best guy to do that. I know my friend Mendel is doing some courses, so check him out, Mendel Beidelei. He's awesome, and he's doing some courses on like mixing and all that stuff. So check out his stuff, right? Thanks for the likes, guys. Really appreciate it. Awesome. Alex Zakutaev. Sorry for botching your name. What is better for bedroom level volume and tone quality at using Kettner GM40 1 watt cranked or 20 watt at low master volume? I think I always use all my amplifiers on the maximum settings and then at lower volumes. For me, that just works. Will Hall 4209. Hi, have you tried the Tonix in a live setting, or do you prefer another modeler for ease of use? Back when I was playing live, the last time that I played live is like 10 years ago. And then I was using something that wasn't great, to be honest. I was using the Pod HD 500X, I think. And it was cool, but it just wasn't good enough. And Tonix wasn't out then, so I can't really comment. Hi, Sonic. Hi. I was wondering if you know why I got a lot of squealing with my tube screamer into a Marshall Plexi. Could it be from the humbucker Bill Lawrence XL500? I don't know. Could be. Try another guitar. Maybe the pickups need to be potted, waxed. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'm here right now. You're here. Let's do this. Let me know if you have any questions. It can also be about other things. It doesn't have to be about amps or modelers, but whatever you guys want, right? All right. What is the best noise gate pedal or plugin in your opinion? I love the Zuda, the gate. It's small, it's simple, only has one knob. It's perfect. I love that gate. That's my favorite gate. If you want a noise gate that has a lot of options, like MIDI control, check out the Red 7 gate. It's really good as well. Satarello, did you have any experience with VHD SNK preamp and with Seymour Duncan Black Winter? No, I know nothing about those. I'm sorry. What must the young? Besides this channel, what other musical projects do you work on? Are you in any band or doing session work, working as a producer, studio engineer? I do some mixing here and there, but I don't have a lot of time to do mixing right now. I do like it a lot. I don't have any musical projects aside from this channel right now because I talked about this earlier during the stream, but it takes up a lot of time. And when I'm done every day, I feel like doing something else, like hang out with my family or read a book because I'm very passionate about comic books, DC, Marvel, Image. That's like my hobby, my biggest hobby next to this, and like watching movies and stuff. And yesterday I was watching Deadpool versus Wolverine again with some friends. It was such a good time. So at the end of the day, I would love to do some more musical projects with like vocals and stuff, but because a lot of my creative energy goes into my work, when I'm done working, I just don't have a lot of motivation or energy to do even more, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'd love to though. Who knows? Never say never. What was your professional occupation before YouTube? Thanks for the great elaborate content. Precious to help buying gear. Thank you so much. I'm not going to try pronouncing your name. I'm so sorry. So I did a bunch of stuff after high school. I did 1 year of the conservatory in Rotterdam. Then I joined a professional band. It was a pretty well-known band in Holland, and I played live with them. You know, I did albums and stuff for 5 years. And then after that, I did a lot of teaching. And then from teaching, I slowly started to grow my channel about 10 years ago or so. And I've been doing this for 10 years, full time now for give or take 5 years or so. Before that, you know, I did teaching and stuff and various little projects. But I'm very happy that this is my full-time job right now. Thanks for the question. And thanks to everybody who's tuning in right now. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know your questions. Really appreciate you being here. And drop a like, drop a comment in the comment section as well for the algorithm. That always helps. And if you haven't seen my video, I did 2 videos recently. I did a comparison of my Orange OR30 and OR15 yesterday. Not a lot of people watched it. It's cool, but it's an interesting video. Check it out. And also check out my review of the yellow LTD 8-string. It's such a cool guitar, and I really enjoyed working on that video. So if you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out. All right, next question. Rob McDaniel, Engel Founders Edition or using Gitner Triamp Mark III? Ooh, both are amazing. Depends kind of on what you need and what you want. I like them both a lot. Triamp, of course, has 6 channels, and the Founders Edition has 5, including the tube, what's it called? The tube channel on the back, tube driver. If you're into that really tight and modern Engel sound and the beautiful cleans and the great crunch and the versatility, dude, the Engel is impossible to beat. However, the Triamp is so good as well, and it's quite affordable right now at Thomann. If you get that amp, please use my affiliate link. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, depends on your taste. I would say check out the features, check out my videos, listen, and decide, you know, what sort of features you need, which tone you prefer, weigh it out, and then buy one of the 2. They're both excellent amps, really excellent. Favorite passive pickups? Ooh, great question. I don't really have a favorite pair. I can name a couple that I really like. I really like the Schecter USA Apocalypse pickups in my E1 Apocalypse Schecter. Really good. I like the Duncan JB. I'm getting a custom guitar from RH Guitars soon that's going to have the bare knuckle Aftermath. I have that pickup in another guitar. It sounds really awesome. I mean, I like a lot of pickups. I don't really have favorites, to be honest. I like a lot of them. I can work with a lot of different pickups. But those are a couple that come to mind. Combat Wombat 2112. Have you had any chance to check out the Marty Friedman signature Engel, the Inferno? Thanks for the great work. Thank you a lot. Learned a lot from you. I really appreciate it. I haven't tried that amp, no. But I'm open to trying anything from Engel. In fact, they should send me, or they are going to send me the E530 preamp along with their power amp soon, because I want to do like a rack based Engel video. That should be interesting. Love Engel, love those guys. Axe-Fx is king. End of discussion. Anyway, greets. Okay, cool. Yeah, the Axe-Fx is cool. Sensei Kreese, have you tried the fuzzes on the Helix Stadium? I've heard mixed reports. Some are saying that they're a bit crap, like the older Helix. I have not. I'm not a fuzz connoisseur. I don't use fuzz often, so I'm not the best person to comment on that, to be honest. Ask Steve Sterlacci. You know him? Ask him, because he is like a very good overview of what the Helix is capable of. Great guy too. Great channel. Subscribe to his channel. William Daniel 8751. I'm looking for a lunchbox amp to play in silence and in small gig. There is a cheap one that covers that ground. I mean, depends on your tonal preference. There are so many cool lunchbox amps out there. If you only need a clean channel and a good high gain tone, PRS MT15. If you want something that does everything, the Synergy Syn20 IR, one of the best lunchbox amps out there. How about, oh man, it's hard to do. The Fireball 25. Those three are right up there. Usually I would say go for the Synergy, because you can choose any preamp you want. You've got the IR loading. You've got the additional clean channel. So that's 3 channels in 1 amp. You get the programmable foot switch. You can get it to sound like a rectifier. You could get it to sound like a plexi, etc. It's a no-brainer, really. If you want something more affordable, maybe go for an MT15, the old version. I haven't tried the new version. You're a metal guy. Yeah, go for Synergy, man. Syn20 IR, seriously. All right. Alec Archer, when did you play live the last time? Do you like touring or just prefer playing at home? The last time I played live was like 10 years ago, I think. And I did like we did a competition with my previous band. And we won, I think. Or we lost, I don't know. We won one competition and we lost the other one. That's when I played live for the last time. But then I contracted my condition, the focal dystonia thing, so I couldn't play live anymore, which was around 10 years ago or so. So I just play home now, and that's how I enjoy making music. Outlaw Frank 88. How do you dial fractal tones? Monitors or headphones? Monitors. If I would use headphones nowadays, I would definitely use this. This is the IK Multimedia Arc On-Air, because it makes headphones sound as if you're listening through speakers in a really nice, non-jarring way, if that makes sense. So yeah, monitors. As I mentioned earlier in the live stream, I even use my monitors for when I'm playing through my ISOCAB. So it's like everything comes through my monitors here. Satch Rules 101. He does. John, I was wondering how to record great audio sound like you. I want to record with my Marshall Plexi, also have a DAW, and use Apple Pro Logic. I mean, that's a loaded question. There's a lot of variables, A good amp is a great start. And then you need to decide, do you want a real cab? Do you have neighbors? Do you need an attenuator? In that case, Fred Power Station is really awesome if you have a Plexi. And then you can take the direct out and experiment with IRs. And if you want to use a real cab, you need to start learning how to place your microphones and stuff. For me, my Grossmont Fatbox ISO cab was a complete game changer. I love it so much. So that's a loaded question. It's hard to sort of give you a definitive answer. Sorry. Music Box 8. If I'm only recording at home, Synergy Syn20 or QC for silent recording. How about both? I mean, it really depends on what you need. If you want a tube amplifier that sounds like a tube amplifier and is really flexible with all the modules and stuff, Syn20 IR, of course. If you don't care about the difference between a real tube amp and modeling, go with the Quad Cortex, because then you get all your effects. It's really fun. Get some of my capture packs. You know what I mean? Scott Whitlow, 8468. Would you be able to do a tone match video for tone matching your PRS MT15 in the new Helix Stadium? Well, I would definitely be interested in trying to capture it, but we need the capture stuff, right? Which isn't out yet. My actual name is Andrew. Hi, Andrew from the US. I'm John from the Netherlands. Blue FANG. Can you make captures of the Mesa Boogie single rectifier for Tonex or NAMM? I think your store only has Quad Cortex captures of it. I might do it for Tonex. The thing is, I like the Tonex stuff, but the Quad Cortex stuff sells way better, so people seem way more interested in my Quad Cortex capture packs. You know, I recently released a capture pack of my JMP1 9200 Marshall rack rig, which sounds awesome, by the way. And I maybe sold like one of the Tonex packs and like multiples of the Cortex packs. I can't see myself ever doing NAMM, to be honest. Tonex is great, but you know, people don't seem really interested in my Tonex packs for some reason. So I don't know. You know, I have to prioritize a little bit there. Hey, John, Moore's guitar. What would you recommend more for live use, Quad Cortex or Tonex? Pedal Tonex 1. Yeah. Well, you know, Quad Cortex is more all-in-one. You know, you have captures as well as effects and everything. If I were to use Tonex live, I would have to combine it with something like a, you know, either a Quad Cortex or an HX Stomp to get more switching options, to get more effects. So no, the easy answer would just be get a Quad Cortex, even though I love the Tonex stuff as well. Very, very much sonically. Sounds great. Requiem 249. Thoughts on real Jazzmasters? Got one yesterday and I totally enjoyed. It's just something different. Yeah, not really my thing, to be honest. I like the body shape, but I need a guitar with humbuckers. I'm not really into single coils or P90 style pickups. Not that much, anyway. They're cool though. They're cool, but for me personally, I prefer other types of guitars. But I like the body shape a lot. The offset body shapes. It's awesome. Satorello, it's great that you love the comics. Me too. I prefer different comics than you, but comics is comics. I love Lucky Luke. Dude, I have all the Lucky Lukes. I have them all. I have like a bunch of European comics as well. I haven't had the chance to read a lot of that, but I love those too, man. I love a lot of different types of comics. I'm not going to try to pronounce this name, but what's the best non-Marshall amp for punk? I feel like Oranges and third channel on the Diesel VH4 or something would be a top contender, right? Yeah. The VH4 is excellent for anything. Orange OR30 would be great for punk as well, I think. I'm not really a punk rocker, but hell yeah, man. Both of those seem like great contenders, to be honest. For sure. All right. Love your channel. Saint Loop says, I love your channel and thank you for your work. Thank you. Have you tried the Carnivore and LCFR speakers? Yes, I have them. I love them. You can hear them side by side in my recent massive speaker shootout. I did a video with 35 different speakers. Okay. It has been viewed now, I think 15,000 times or so, which means that only a small portion of my subscribers even have seen that video. Like, I was expecting a lot more people to watch that video, to be honest, because you can hear 35 different speakers side by side there. The LCFR came out a little bit dark sounding there. So keep in mind that if you're interested in that speaker, you just use one SM57 right in the center, you're going to get a great tone. So you're going to have to treat that a little bit differently than, say, the Carnivore, which is a little bit more like a V30, okay? So in that comparison, it comes out a little bit dark, but that's just because I wanted to use the same mic levels and the same mic positions for each speaker so that you guys could really hear the difference without many variables changing, if that makes sense. But if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. It's one of the best videos that I ever did, in my opinion. Thanks for your question. Mr. Calenture. Oh man, I forgot your name. Sorry. Your time and dedication is like no other, and we are all very lucky to have you as a resource for amazing products out there. I'm 55 and glued to your channel for reviews that are second to none. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. I really appreciate it. Like anytime people say something nice, it really means a lot to me, and I can't reply to everybody who leaves a nice comment on my channel, but it really, I read them all and they really make me happy. Like really, I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate your kind words. So thank you so much for that. Scott Whitlow. Did you ever get into the Marvel Secret Wars series back in the 80s? That was my main comic book. Oh yeah. I mean, I have it. I'm reading everything chronologically from Marvel and DC, and I'm almost at the Secret Wars thing. So I'm like, plowing through everything, but there's so much stuff that I want to read. So I haven't gotten there just yet, but I will soon. Martin, I have a Synergy Syn 20AR with an SLO2 module. Really awesome module. Which other module would you recommend? Thinking 2CP. That's a great module too. Really depends on your taste. Uberschall comes to mind if you want really a lot of gain and tightness and aggression. I like the Direct for the rectifier sound so much. There are so many great modules, man. Really depends on your taste. Lalo Landa Landa. Can you talk about the tone stability with large string gauges? 0.80 or so. Tone stability. You mean tuning stability? To be honest, also depends on your scale length and the setup, but not really. It's not really different than other gauges. So I don't really know how to answer that question. I personally don't have a lot of issues. I have a 9-string. I'm posting a video this week of my Legator 9-string, which is going to be a lot of fun. Definitely check out that video, guys. And I'm using a 0.95 for the low C sharp, and the tuning stability is pretty good. It's a 30-inch scale on the low string, though. So that really helps. But yeah, if the skill length is good, shouldn't have any issues. Paul, dude. Oh, man. Paul posted an inside joke. I'm not going to talk about that. No, we're not going to talk about that, Paul. Poo Ninja. What's up, Poo Ninja? Yeah, drop some thumbs up, people. It really helps out the algorithm. If you want, drop a comment in the comment section, because that also helps to spread the word. I don't do these live streams often, but I really felt like doing it. So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. We've been at this for 1 hour and 8 minutes. I can continue for a little while, so drop your questions. Let's hang out for a little bit now that we have the chance. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. This is fun. My throat is getting dry from all the talking, though. Okay. Again, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name. Very sorry, but have you ever tried the Rev Tilt Boost? I have not. Seems like a really cool pedal. Really. Poo Ninja, my standard AMA. What's your favorite beverage? I have a soft spot, especially in the summer, for like a good Weizen, those tall beers. That would be my favorite, I think. I'm just going to not try to pronounce difficult names. Okay, this is the last one. Tarania the Anicom guy 7898. Oh, what's that amp on the shelf over the Diesel next to you? It looks really nice. This is the Prometheus. This is a legendary amp. It's great for any genre. Seriously, Lichtlerm Audio Prometheus. Check it out, okay? Next question. White Room. When you write new tracks, what is your creative process? How do you settle on a riff to begin with? Not just constantly noodle around. And what's the process do you then follow to create a complete track? Okay, let me summarize this quickly, okay? I'll be walking outside or on my bike or whatever, and then I'm like, that's a cool groove. Cool. And I grab my phone and I record that in my audio recorder. And then I let it grow in my head. I prefer to write stuff as much as I can in my head rather than noodling, because then I come up with just grooves that make me move, if you know what I mean. And then I try, okay, it's a bit boring in terms of the notes that I'm using. Then I'll try to put some notes. Dude, that's a sick riff, by the way. I need to record that. Let me record that. That's how that works. You never know when a good idea hits you. So I'll grab my smart recorder app. That's how it goes, and then I can listen back when I get to my computer, grab a guitar, and there you go. I record that riff in a template with everything laid out, including drum samplers and stuff. Put down a drum groove, retrack the guitar left and right, put a bass under it, and voila, that's it. That's the short version. Thanks for the question. Poo something. Thoughts on Rockboard Power Amp? I do not know. I'm sorry. Scott Whitlow. Last question. Have you ever thought of doing a small Cubase tutorial type video? How you get your great production sound and how you use Cubase when you are first starting a song. I have thought about doing a video on how I write music. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said earlier in this live stream, a lot of times when I do like DAW tutorials, they don't get a lot of views. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe I will. Where is Christoph? I do not know where Christoph is, but thanks for the question. Hey, John, I broke my OD pedal. Oops. Any recommendations to replace it? It has a very handy girth knob, low cut for extended range guitars. Lichtlerm Audio, The King in Yellow. Asa Hatter by Lichtlerm Audio. Or the Zuta Triax. The Zuta Triax Boost. So good. Seriously. Engel Special Edition Founders Edition. Really could use your help on the Z9 foot switch. Not good with MIDI. Yeah, I have no idea because I never use the Engel foot switches. You know why? First of all, because I never use foot switches because I'm in the studio. I'll just do everything with my hand. And because Engel never includes the foot switches. So there you go. Sorry that I couldn't really answer your question very well. Have you ever taken music theory or composition lessons? I'm asking because your songs sound very professional. I mean, the arrangements. Thank you. No, I mean, I got some theory when I was at the conservatory for a year. And of course, I also had guitar lessons when I was a teenager. Of course, that helped. But most of the stuff that I learned was just by doing stuff myself and by researching stuff myself. So being like hungry for it is a really important ingredient, because then you don't need somebody to tell you how to do things. Then you will find your own way, because there are so many resources on the internet where you can learn how to make music and just listen to music and listen to how other people are doing it and maybe try to emulate it a little bit and see what sort of elements you can take, you know, for your own music. That's basically the short version of my advice. Thanks for the question. What is the one main thing that keeps you going back to real amps versus modelers? I use both. I love both. Nothing is ever going to completely replace tube amps. They're just so much fun. They sound awesome. They're fun to work with. So there's no reason for me not to use them. I have them anyway. You know what I mean? But modelers are fun and convenient, and it's both cool. They can live together in harmony. That's my philosophy. Luke says, wanted to say that I purchased a dual rectifier last year because of you. Awesome. Love from Limburg. Thank you. That is great. It always makes me happy when people buy something because of my channel and then end up really loving that piece of gear. That's so cool. Scott, not capturing the MT15 in the Helix, just try to tone match. Yeah, I don't know. They would just have to add an amp model, to be honest. It doesn't make sense for me to try to match the sound of the MT15 in a modeler that doesn't have a model of the MT15. Does that make sense? It's not really something that I would be really interested in. Baritone Goat Studio, my buddy. Random question. My great-grandfather emigrated from the Netherlands in the 1930s. His name was Jan, but changed it to John. Is John, how you spell it, a common name in the Netherlands? Not really. So in Holland, they say Jon, not Jan, but Jon. But everybody calls me John, and half of my family is English, so it's basically John. My full name is Jonathan, so it's like the short version of that. But Jan is a very common name in the Netherlands. Jon, not so much. So usually it's like Shon. Like you write it like you write John, usually with an H. Shon or John. That's like the common version of my name in Holland. Jim Lee or Rob Liefeld? Jim Lee, man. Jim Lee. Oh, yeah. However, they're both legends, obviously. Kitty Litter 5060. Howdy, John. Howdy. I'm curious if you have gotten the chance to try our Bogner Uber Ultra. Dude, I talked about this earlier in the chat. And you know what? It's a difficult subject because I can't seem to reach Bogner, let alone let them send me one of those amps. I'd love to try that amp, seriously, but they're impossible to reach, and I don't know. They don't seem eager to work with anybody like me, to be honest, which is weird because their website is down. That amp seems so cool. I've tried to reach like multiple people to try to get them to send me an Uber Ultra. I don't think it's happening, unfortunately. Luckily, the Synergy module rocks. So I have to make do with that, unfortunately. Favorite scale? Lydian, I guess. You won them audiophile people. No, I don't consider myself an audiophile. Kitty Litter. Also, I plan on checking out the speaker shootout video again. I just have a hard time finding the time where I can fully pay attention. Fair enough. Hesu Demon has been winning all the shootouts for me lately. Yeah, I love the Hesu Demon. So whenever I'm like jamming through my FM9 here, mostly I use my Heyday IR pack, which is based on my Hesu Demon. Oh, sounds so good. It's great for metal. Shane Stone Official, have you tried the Victory Kraken Mark II or the Sheriff? I haven't tried the Sheriff, but I did a review on the Mark II. It's here. It's the Kraken Mark II. Check out my full review. It's an awesome amp. I love that they added a presence control. It's about time. Troll, I know you had like an old Marvel P&P RPG, had character sheets, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I haven't really tried a lot of Marvel games aside from the Spider-Man stuff, so I don't know a lot about that, but that's cool, man. Braxol, can you get a good sound with a mic on a 4x12 cab running at bedroom level with a Fryhead power station? Of course. The cab doesn't need to be cranked in order for it to sound good. Seriously. You can get great tones at any levels. Okay. Fast Red Pony Car. What's up, dude? Hey, I'm here. Better late than never. Fair enough. Welcome here, man. Some friends joining the chat. That's cool. Roman Chugs, how did your English get so good? Thank you. Also, drop G or drop A sharp, if you could just pick one. I'll start with the second question. Drop A sharp, because that's what I use always on my baritones, aside from the 8 strings and stuff. And my English, my father is from England. And when I started the channel, my accent was a little bit more to the English side. And then I got some comments where I pronounced things a certain way and it pissed off people. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck, I'm going to try to talk as American as I possibly can, which has worked out because I almost never get comments about my accent anymore. But thank you. Yeah, I mean, my father is English. That helps. And I watch a lot of movies. And that also helps. Also, when I was young, I was just watching like English stuff, you know, unlike in Germany where everybody watches everything in German, which is still kind of weird. All right. Next question. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button, everybody. All of that support. It's trivial. It's a little effort. Really helps out the channel. If you want to support this channel in another way, get something in my affiliate links. Go to my web store. Get a capture pack. Get an IR pack. All of that really helps. Thank you so much. I'm going to continue with the questions, even though my throat is getting really dry. Sound Gardener 75. Hey, John. Have you come across these discontinued Thunderverb heads? I would love to see it compare, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I haven't ever tried a Thunderverb. I think the closest that I would get with what I have now would be the Dark Terror, because I know that the preamp is identical. At least the Thunder 30, the TH30, I had that one, which I sold to a friend of mine. That's like a really cool amp as well. But they don't make them anymore. So, you know, and I do prefer using, for the most part anyway, using amps on the channel that you can still get. For the most part. Okay. All right, let's continue. Chris Haney. Hey, John, your channel has been extremely hazardous for my wallet. Thank you for your dedication. Thanks. So sorry about that. On the other hand, I like gear so much. I'm also guilty of having gas and buying too much. And so I'm sorry, but at the same time, I hope you're enjoying all that gear. It's fun. I love gear. Thanks for the tips. Thank you for the questions. Martin, Synergy module with Syn20AR. I mostly play ambient and chugs prog metal, I guess. So ideally one channel edge of breakup through to crunch and the other chugs. Yeah. So you'd need a module with 2 independent channels, like the Fortin, for example. That would be a good one. Like the 2CP is going to be great for proggy stuff, but I don't know if you can get like the perfect high gain tone and at the same time a good clean tone or crunchy tone. So look for the modules with 2 completely independent channels, you know, and see if you can find one that suits your need. It's hard to think of the perfect one at this time right now for me. I'd have to think about that. But a lot of the modules are really nice, to be honest. All right, let's see if there are any more questions. Drop some questions, guys. If the questions run out, that's totally fine. But then I'm gonna end this live chat in a little while. But I'd love to answer a couple more questions. Scott, would you ever be willing to share your Cubase template for quick recordings? I lied about the last question earlier. Lol. I forgot. I don't know which question you're referring to. Share your Cubase template. I don't know. I don't know if that would make sense because I'm using a lot of stuff like Superior Drummer with expansions and plugins, and I don't think many people would benefit from that, to be honest. Sorry. Are you Dutch? Yes, I'm Dutch. I thought that you are living in the USA. Ha! Ha! Got you there. No, my father is English, but I live in Holland. So yeah, I'm born and raised in Holland. That's where I come from. But it's good to hear that I'm doing okay with my accent. That's good. Because a lot of my audience is from the United States, a big portion. Peter, hey bro, why did it take so long for you to find the Using K amp you reviewed recently? Thanks for the question, Peter. Um, because for a long time they were really hard to approach as a company. They were going through changes with Thomann and stuff. And now that they have new people working for them, it was easier for me to get a hold of them. In fact, they sent me a message if I wanted to review that amp. So that's how that happened. Also, thanks to Henning, by the way. So I appreciate him for that as well. Kitty Leader says, sad panda. Sad panda. Alex, using Kettner 1x12, 2x12 cab, or Mesa rectifier. I have never tried the using Kettner cab, so I can't comment. Sorry. Joel asks, best neutral sounding reactive load box. Dude, I did a video, let's say 6 months ago or so-ish, maybe 4 months ago. I don't know. It was a big comparison of a bunch of reactive loads, also versus a real mic'd speaker. And that would give you the answer you're looking for. Check out that video, seriously. I'm getting the same question by Christoph that I answered earlier about the broken OD pedal. Yeah, check out the Zuda Triax, seriously. Or Lichtlarm Audio, The King in Yellow, or Asa Header. Hey, Luca, what's up? Oh, man, I wish I could speak Italian better, but that's my Italian friend. Check out his channel, Luca Miglieri Music. Good to see you too, man. Buongiorno. Peter, did Solar end up sending you a guitar? No. I recently contacted them again, and they were like, yeah, maybe we can send you something. Man, they just didn't seem interested, which, fair enough, but doesn't look like it's going to happen, to be honest. How many kilograms of amps do you have? Dude, I don't know. And maybe I don't want to know. All I know is that the Marshall rack rig that I got recently, which is behind this cupboard over here, that rack alone was 35 kilograms. Crazy. Jonathan Foster, 100. Hey, John, I lean towards neck-through guitars these days. How do you feel about bolt-on versus set versus neck-through? In the end, I can work with all of them, but my preference is, if I could choose, neck-through guitars. I love it so much in terms of the looks, in terms of the feel, the resonance. I love neck-through a lot. Yes. So this guy in Holland, RH Guitars, who makes really cool guitars, by the way, check out his website. He's building me a custom guitar, and I chose neck-through. He was like, yeah, let's do neck-through. So that's cool. So if I get to if I have the choice, I would always choose neck-through. But that's a personal preference, There's nothing wrong with bolt-on or set neck. Braxall, I bet if you turned on every one of those amps at once, you're going to have problems with power. Yes, I'm not going to try that. There would probably be some sort of black hole in which everything will get sucked. And that would suck. Satorello, have you ever taken music theory? Hey, I answered that question. Oh, you meant the arrangements. I answered that question earlier, didn't I? Nice shirt. Hey, Dan, what's up, bro? It's my friend Dan joining the chat here. Thanks to you all for joining in. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. If you haven't subscribed already, please. When am I going to reach 100,000 subscribers? I'm 39 right now. I'm guessing, hopefully, when I'm like 42 or something, because my growth is like steady, slow but steady. I don't fart enough on the channel probably in order to grow that fast. Uncle Yoshi, if you had to choose Engel 4x12 XXL or Mesa 4x12 oversize, well, the answer is right there. Engel 4x12 XXL oversized. Definitely. That would be my choice. D Park 551. Any other amp pads you're looking to add to your collection? Great question. I've talked about this 2 or 3 times in this chat already, but I really would like a Bogner Uber Ultra. But again, I don't think it's going to happen, which is a shame. Mies Music. How did you get started with all of this? Yeah, so let me take a sip and then explain the situation. So let's say roughly 10 years ago, around the time when I started this channel, a friend of mine, Kevin, and by the way, then I was only using my Axe-Fx with IRs, right? And I was like, oh, it's so cool to have access to all those amps and all those tones. And he was like, you know what? You should try an amp. Just one. And then I bought this amp, the EVH 5153 EL34. And then I was like, oh man, this is so good. This sounds so good. I loved the Axe-Fx and stuff, but there's something about the sound and feel of a real tube amplifier and also the experience of dealing with the hardware that sounded so good to me. And then I was like, I was spoiled because of the Axe-Fx to have all those options. And this is something in my personality. Then I just wanted an Axe-Fx in the real world, basically. And I started collecting amplifiers. And that's why we're here. Blue FANG. Will you make a video of your guitar collection for 2025? Maybe. I don't know. Could be fun. I don't know. Could be fun. There's a lot of guitars, and I'm selling a couple. So I'm not sure. Maybe. Could be fun. Could be fun. Denny Ross. It's funny. I went to the channel to see that Loadbox review, and I saw this. What is that Loadbox? I forgot. I think they're my favorite. Can't remember that brand of Loadbox. I do not know to which Loadbox you are referring, my friend. Charlie, hey John, I'm an electronic engineer. I've been building an amp which sounds exactly like the Mark II C+, but it's full solid state, so it could be 400, 600 euros. Do you think there's a market for that or just fun? Dude, if it's solid state and if it sounds exactly like a Mark II C+, 400 to 600 euros sounds like way too affordable, but it should sound really good, and then you can raise the price. Send me an email when it's done and we can talk. Okay. Scott, what studio monitors do you use for playing guitar through with modelers? I touched on this earlier in the live stream, but I use my IK Multimedia iLoud Precision MTMs, which I love so much. And the built-in ARC room correction thing with the mic and everything works so well. So yeah, I love those. I swear by these monitors. Seriously, I use them for everything. Luca, maybe they asked you already, but did you put your instrumental tracks on the various streaming platforms? No, I've never done that. I'm honestly, I'm not really a fan of streaming. I don't use Spotify myself. Maybe I will in the future. Maybe I won't. I mean, people can just come to my channel and push play on my video, I guess. That's not a good answer, is it? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I have so much stuff that I want to do and so much stuff to do that I would have to make serious time in order to, remix all those tracks and put them on the streaming platforms and then make no money because you won't make any money with the streaming and stuff. You know what I mean? Nikki, John, have you ever had the chance to check out NRG amps? I believe they're based in Belgium. I have been in touch with them once, and they seemed eager to send me something, but we couldn't work it out. Maybe if they can work it out with me now, I would definitely be open to it because they seem really, really cool amps. White Room, would you ever do some cross-genre compositions? I like some of your clean riffs as well as your heavier stuff. I don't know. I don't really think about the music I write. I just do. And sometimes my music is a little bit more classic. Sometimes it's a bit more rock. Sometimes it's a bit more metal. But I never think about that at all. I just do. And whatever comes out, to be honest. Peter, did you review the Zuta, John? I think you did, but I can't remember. You mean the amps? The Zuta. Yeah, I did full reviews for both amps, and they are so awesome. Seriously, some of the best amps I've ever tried. No joke. David Forbes. Hey, John. January, I'll be getting the Stadium after 5 years using the OG Helix. Awesome. Congrats. Love your Helix work you do on the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much and enjoy your Helix. Very cool. Hey, John, there's an ESP Phoenix black metal at a local store for cheap, but I'm having the hardest time finding a good gig bag for it. What do you recommend? Ooh, that's a hard question. I do not know. Maybe at Thomann sometimes they recommend certain gig bags that fit certain guitars. I don't know, maybe an Explorer gig bag or something. I don't know. I haven't bought a gig bag in like 20 years, so I'm not the best person to answer that. I'm sorry. Denny Ross, I knew you were on the same page as me, John. I don't know to what you're referring because I got a lot of questions, but I like your style. Fart, that was a solar dig. Ola is a cool guy. No disrespect to Ola. You know what I mean? He has a massive channel, so what can you say? He's a legend on the platform, right? Michael York, to replace my Les Paul Standard, ESP 1000, EC 1000 with Fishman Fluence or PRS single cut. I would go for the ESP because that's just what I like more. If you're into PRS, do a PRS, you know, depends on what you like. Baritone Go Studio, looking forward to the Tube Amp Appreciation 2.0 video. Yeah, me too. I should get that started, and you're going to be in it, dude, and you know it. Thanks for reminding me. D Park 551. This is probably impossible to answer if you haven't already, but do you have an absolute favorite amp head? No, I do not. And I've done some videos on the channel where I did like a top 5, and you know, and there are a bunch of amps that would be very high on my list, also because of emotional reasons, like the Red 7 that was custom built for me, the Lichtlar Audio that was custom built for me, the Rev Generator that was custom built for me. So those have a special place in my heart. The Driftwood Mini Nightmare, the Soldanos, the Zudas, all the Engels. They're all so good. How can I possibly choose a favorite? Uncle Yoshi, can we send you a care package? Me? Send me a care package? Sure, why not? What would you send? I do not know what you would send, but of course you can send me a care package. Oh, sorry, you meant for Peter, I guess. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, that would be very kind of you. And Peter, I hope you'll be doing well soon. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Let's see. Mies. Interesting to hear how you got started with your amp collection. What was the original concept for your YouTube channel since you didn't have any amps when it started? Okay. Yeah, so back then I was doing SoundCloud clips. My account is probably still up. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go to YouTube and just add some visuals so that I have another avenue of getting my music out there. And that basically started it. And that snowballed into what we have here now. All right. Question: can you wire pickups yourself, or even more technical electronics like working on amps? Nope. I cannot. No, I'm not good at that stuff. MJ Lagerwerf, what's up, dude? Well, this has been a while since you did something like this. Yes, that is correct. The last time I did something like this is like, I feel like a year ago or something. It's a good hang. We've been doing this for 1 hour and 40 minutes now. My beverage is slowly going empty. My throat is pretty dry, but I'll try to answer some more questions. So drop them now. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, everybody. If you want to support the channel, get something in my web store. My new web store is up. It's almost out. sonicdrivestudio.com. Check it out. It's my new website. And let's do some more questions. David, hi, John. I would like to ask you why you don't use anymore the Phoenix and Les Paul style guitars. I like the bass sound of the chunky guitar. I love your sound. Dude, I use them. In fact, I recorded a video yesterday with one of my Phoenix guitars. I love them. And I like Eclipses and stuff as well. They're cool. I do like the Phoenix guitars more than Eclipse style guitars, though, for some reason, because of the style and the feel and the resonance and everything. So the Phoenix guitars are just chef's kiss, you know. Should have bought the Nano Cortex or the Quad Cortex for home playing. Depends on what you want. The Quad Cortex is very capable. And the Nano Cortex is smaller. It does less. So what do you need, you know? Do you need the amp modeling or just some captures and you're good, and some effects? Or do you want it all? If you want it all, get the Quad Cortex. Shredding 51. Have you used the Marshall Vintage Modern? If so, what do you think? I have not. So I don't have an opinion. I've heard good things, though. Anfera, is the Helix going to replace the Quad Cortex as the standard for live use? It depends on who you ask, but I think the Helix, it's already very popular, but the Stadium is going to make it even more popular because, you know, it has some great features, and it's going to have some more great features in the future with the backing tracks and the MIDI programming and everything. It's really powerful. Metal Alex, your best Seymour Duncan pickups and why? I kind of touched on this earlier. I don't really have favorites. I like a lot of pickups. I like the JB. I like the Custom. I like the Nazgul. Seymour Duncan makes a lot of great pickups. But I can work with a lot of different pickups, you know. MJ Lagerwerf, you still miss a Dover DA50 amp in your collection. That is true. I do not have one. So, yeah, maybe one day we should make that happen somehow. Do you like the Gathering Band? I do not really know. I've never listened to them, to be honest. Sorry. What is the condition of Dutch extreme metal scene? I do not know. I don't go to a lot of shows and stuff and concerts, to be honest. Peter asked, John, I have a rare Sundew Gold Ibanez Pia. It's HSH. The output drops significantly when switching from position 1 to 2 and position 4. Okay, full humbuckers are super loud. Thoughts? You know what? Whenever I have a guitar with single coil, split coil switching and stuff, I always feel like the volume drops a lot when you switch to single coil sounds. I guess that's just the nature of the beast. And yeah, I don't know. It's not ideal, you know. Cornell Wave. Wow, great channel. Thank you. Great comments. Sorry for ruining your name, MJ Lagerwerf. It's a dude. He bought my Engel Iron Ball, my old one. It's a cool dude. Nice dude. Frem8045. And by the way, I'm ruining everybody's name here, okay? What's the best orange amp for metal? I use the Jim Root number 4 15-watt head. That's a great little metal amp. Yeah, that's a good one, especially when you use it with a boost. But the Rocker Verb is the GOAT, and the OR30, so good as well, so chunky. How much time, I mean, hours do you spend playing guitar, composing, etc. per week? That's, I don't know. I never think about that stuff. I just do. So I don't know. It also really depends on what type of videos I'm working on. I've been trying to do more videos where I just play like live on the spot, if you will. And then I don't have to do a lot of composing. So I do a little bit less composing and writing than I did previously, which, to be honest, has been a little bit liberating for me. So, yeah, it's really difficult to answer. I don't know. It really depends on how the week looks in terms of what I have to do. Hello, I'm thinking about buying the Triamp. Yeah, still have the Laney IRT. Would this be a good and supplementary choice? Absolutely. Absolutely. Can't go wrong with the Triamp, in my opinion. Best tube amp and cab for gent with 7 to 9 strings. It depends. Do you need an amp that already sounds really tight without a boost? Or are you fine with boosting it? Because if you don't mind boosting it, which I do recommend with 8 and 9 strings very often, then you can make do with a lot of amps, like the Prometheus, Prometheus, like the Red 7, like any angle, like with a boost up front, anything high gain can work for an extended range guitar. If you need an amp that does that without a boost, maybe an EVH, or maybe an Angle, or maybe the Prometheus. Here we go. Or a Victory Kraken. Those are pretty good for the low tunings. Would you maybe do a video on dialing in your favorite tones by your favorite artists? Dude, I've done plenty of those. Do you not play standard tunings? Not often. No, I prefer half step down, drop C sharp. Dan, as someone who has sat beside you in your studio, I can say this. While amps all have different style and tones, it's your technique and approach that really makes those tones happen. Dude, thank you. I mean, I don't know if that was a compliment or that you meant like it as a general statement, but yeah, that's true. I mean, technique and how you play plays a big part in how an amp sounds. If that was meant as a compliment, thank you. You're a legend. Oh yeah, we traded. That is true, MJ. For what did we trade it again? I forgot. I forgot. Drop it in the comments, man. I gave you my Iron Ball and you gave me your amp. I forgot which one I got from you. Let me know. Oh, thanks, Dan. I appreciate it, buddy. Hi, are Schecter guitars good made quality? Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you tried the ESP LTD Gary Holt? I haven't tried any of those, but Gary Holt is a legend and his guitars are killer. Oh, the Randall. I remember, MJ. I sold it, but that was a cool amp. I remember now. Yeah. Rick K. Mortis 6-stringer. What is your favorite tuning? Drop C sharp, basically. Paul, hoeveel fietsen bezit je? Oh, one for each family member. Thanks, Peter. Have a good night, buddy. Take care. Okay, guys. I'm going to stick around for a little while. Not a lot longer because we've almost been doing this for 2 hours. So if you have any questions, drop them now or you'll never get the chance anymore. That's a joke. I hope you will get the chance, but I don't do these live streams often. However, I'm really enjoying this, so I might do it more often. We'll see. So if you have questions, drop them now, but also be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And, you know, let the algorithm know that you're here and that you like watching my stuff. Okay. I'll stay here for a little while to answer some more questions. So if you have any questions, do it now. Okay. Amp and cab models are all the rage. Think we'll ever see pickup modelers, or maybe already is and I'm just out of the loop? Good question. Maybe. Could be cool if you have like a pickup that has like some technology inside of it that you could like go on your phone and then say like, I want this to sound like a Seymour Duncan JB, or I want it to sound like an EMG. That could be very interesting. But it would be great if it were like inside of the pickup or inside of the guitar itself, if that makes sense. Red F Black. Hey, yeah, what's your current favorite sample drum library software? Superior Drummer. For sure, that's what I use. Hallo Jon, alsjeblieft. Dankjewel. Lalo Lando, you have a Dream Gear collection. Fucking amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How did you become friends with Mendel? We just started messaging each other, I guess, which it was a couple of years ago now. Mendel is a legend. He's a great guy. Hey, bro. Hope you're doing well. Hey, man. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Good to see some friends in here and good people. Have you tried the Ibanez RG 2077 XL Prestige? No, I have not. Is that the baritone one? I haven't tried that, no. Do you still have your M80M? No, I sold it. And the M8M is the GOAT, of course. Yo, how do you program your drums to sound so good and not guitarist-ish? I love programming drums. It's one of the funnest things about creating little songs for my videos. When I started doing that, I don't know, 20 years ago, I just really did a lot of practicing and stuff. And, you know, I started out making a lot of mistakes, like doing things that real drummers can't. So it's good to have at least some understanding of how drummers drum and what they can do in terms of the amount of arms that they have. So the more you practice it, the better you get. Just practice, practice. Hi, man. Haven't you been disappointed of the Stadium and Agora? High gain is a flop. I might even prefer the OG Helix. No, not really. I mean, the EVH amp, as I showed in my video recently, that could use a little bit of work. But on the whole, I think it sounds really good, to be honest. Again, in the case of the EVH, I did prefer the old model. It sounds great. You know, it's not like, oh, the Helix is obsolete now because of the fact that an older amp model happens to sound better for my preference than the newer model. It's also personal preference, you know. Tim, how can you afford all those amps? Yeah, people think I'm rich, but this is my job. It has been for 10 years at least, and I work with a lot of brands, and it's not like I just go to a store and buy an amp every day. That's not how it works, you know. St. Loop, keep going. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Isn't Fishman Fluence basically a pickup modeler, not copper wires, just PCB boards? Yes, I think so. But it would be cool if you could like have 100 different pickup models inside of one single pickup, right? Rather than 2 or 3. Are you coming to NAMM? No, I'm sorry. A Tonix pedal could hold all your amps. How good is it? It's good. Tonix is good. Have you ever think of trying some Omega amps? Would be nice to see it here on your channel. I'm open to trying anything. And guys, feel free to make brands aware of my channel if you want me to see, if you want to see a review of me playing a certain amp from a certain brand, feel free to reach out to them and to say, hey, do you know Sonic Drive Studio? I'd love to see one of your amps on his channel. Sometimes that really helps, to be honest, because it makes them aware of the fact that you guys are interested, you know? Metal Alex, is Kemper really bad for you? No, it's not a bad unit, but it has some really big shortcomings. that I've exposed, well, not exposed, but that I've shown on my channel, it's dated, you know. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. Paul, do you still have any bucket list gear to try, amps or guitars? Well, I did mention this earlier, but I would love to get a Bogner Uber Ultra on the channel, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. So yeah, I don't know. All right, guys, we're almost at 2 hours. Wow. My throat is so dry and my Pepsi is done. So final questions, and then I'm gonna go and have dinner with my family. Final questions, guys. Drop them now, or it will be too late. Do you play bass on your demos? Yes, I always play bass. I'm not a fan of fake bass stuff, even though it's definitely useful. I play all my bass parts. Yes. Thank you for your answers. Thank you for your questions, guys. If you could only use one set of pickups for the rest of your life, far would it be? Far would it be? I don't know. I don't want to settle on one set of pickups, to be honest. Have a nice dinner. Thank you. Thanks for the compliments and for your comments, guys. Yeah, and also subscribe to my friends' channels: Baritone Goat Studio, Lonely Rocker, and all those guys. They're all legends. I see one more question. Curious, how does the Usen-Kettner Grandmeister Deluxe stack up against the current amp sims in your collection? I don't have the Grandmeister Deluxe anymore, so I don't know. I do have the Tubemeister Deluxe 40, which I preferred tonally. That's why I sold the Grandmeister, and I still have this one. Cheers, Dan. See you soon, buddy. Bon appetit. Thank you. Okay. One more or two more questions, maybe. Why do you think there is no plugin that captures the sound of a Powerball as close as the real amp? Good question. I want to say something, but I can't. Just wait and see. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for joining in here, guys. Yeah, Paul. Paul is a legend too. Paul Bradshaw Guitar. Subscribe to his channel as well. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Almost 2 hours. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for all your support. Really means a lot. Maybe we'll do one of these one more time soon. We'll see. You guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this stream. And again, thanks for everything, guys. You are the best. And see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.